The Rock could return after the main event to help Seth Rollins. But has he already betrayed Roman Reigns? One of the biggest questions surrounding WWE right now has nothing to do with a championship or a match announcement. Instead, it revolves around one name that continues to cast a shadow over the entire Bloodline story, The Rock. Even when he is not on television, fans continue talking about him because his presence still feels connected to Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and the future of WWE. For months, many fans have been wondering whether The Rock is truly finished with Roman Reigns or whether there is still one final chapter left to tell. Every appearance, every interview, and every small detail has been examined closely by the WWE Universe. While there is no official confirmation of what happens next, one interesting theory has continued to gain attention among wrestling fans. The theory is simple. What if The Rock returns after the main event not to stand beside Roman Reigns, but to stand beside Seth Rollins? That single moment would completely change the conversation surrounding the Bloodline without requiring a single word to be spoken. More importantly, it would raise one enormous question. Has The Rock already decided that Roman Reigns is no longer worthy of leading the family? This discussion becomes even more interesting when fans look back at Roman Reigns' recent comments. During recent appearances, Roman acknowledged several members of the Samoan wrestling family. Different names were mentioned as Roman reflected on the people connected to his journey and the legacy of the Bloodline. But one name stood out because it was missing: The Rock. Many fans immediately noticed that Roman did not mention him while discussing other Samoan superstars and family members. Was it intentional? Was it simply an oversight? Nobody outside WWE knows the answer. However, in professional wrestling, even small details can become important when a larger story is being told. That omission has created a fascinating rumor. Some fans believe that The Rock may have taken that silence personally. Throughout WWE history, respect has always been one of the central themes of the Bloodline story. Recognition matters. Loyalty matters. Family matters. If Roman publicly acknowledged nearly everyone except The Rock, some fans believe that could represent more than a forgotten name. It could represent growing tension between two of the biggest personalities in wrestling history. Whether that was planned or completely accidental remains unknown. Still, the speculation continues to grow. The relationship between Roman Reigns and The Rock has never been completely straightforward. At different points they have appeared united, while at other times there has been an obvious power struggle beneath the surface. Both men represent different generations, different eras, and different ideas about leadership. Roman built the Bloodline into one of WWE's most successful factions. The Rock represents one of the most iconic members of the Anoa'i family and one of the biggest stars professional wrestling has ever produced. When two leaders exist within the same family legacy, conflict almost becomes inevitable. That is why fans continue wondering whether The Rock truly supports Roman's leadership or simply tolerates it. The possibility of The Rock standing beside Seth Rollins instead of Roman Reigns would send an entirely different message. It would not simply be about helping one superstar. It would be about choosing a side. Seth Rollins has spent years positioning himself as Roman Reigns' greatest rival. Their history stretches back to the Shield, where they rose together before taking completely different paths. Every time they face one another, their matches carry emotional weight because they understand each other better than almost anyone else. That rivalry has never truly ended. Adding The Rock into that story would introduce another layer entirely. Instead of focusing only on championships or victories, the discussion would become about trust, respect, and leadership within wrestling's most famous family. Some fans believe that Roman Reigns has become so focused on maintaining his own legacy that he no longer values the people who helped shape it. Others disagree completely, arguing that Roman earned his position through years of dominance and therefore deserves to lead without constantly seeking approval from anyone, including The Rock. That disagreement among fans is exactly why this rumor has become so popular. There is another reason people continue talking about this possibility. The Rock has always valued respect above almost everything else during his WWE career. Whether as a fan favorite or as one of the company's greatest villains, respect has remained a central part of his character. If someone disrespected him, ignored him, or challenged his position, he rarely forgot it. That history makes the recent discussions around Roman's comments even more interesting. Again, there is no confirmation that The Rock was offended. But the idea itself has become one of the hottest talking points among wrestling fans. Professional wrestling often builds major rivalries around simple moments that initially appear insignificant. A handshake, a stare, a single sentence, or perhaps a name that was never mentioned. Sometimes what is left unsaid creates more discussion than what is actually spoken. That is exactly why fans continue revisiting Roman's recent remarks. Was it simply coincidence? Or was WWE quietly planting another seed? Nobody knows. What makes this rumor even more compelling is the largest story surrounding Roman Reigns himself. For years, Roman stood at the very top of WWE. He defeated nearly every major superstar placed in front of him and established one of the longest championship reigns in modern history. Along the way, the Bloodline evolved into the company's defining storyline. But dominance often creates distance. The higher someone climbs, the fewer people remain beside them. Leadership becomes lonely. Trust becomes difficult. Every decision carries consequences. Some fans believe Roman's journey has slowly transformed him from a respected leader into someone who believes his own greatness is unquestionable. If that perception has reached The Rock, then it naturally fuels rumors that the family relationship may no longer be as strong as it once appeared. Whether those rumors are accurate is another matter entirely. Still, WWE has always understood how to use uncertainty to keep audiences talking. Sometimes the strongest stories are the ones that leave fans debating every possible interpretation. That is exactly what is happening here. Another fascinating part of this discussion involves Seth Rollins himself. Rollins has never hidden the fact that he believes he understands Roman Reigns better than anyone else. They shared victories together, experienced betrayal together, and ultimately became two of WWE's biggest stars. Their history cannot be erased. If anyone knows Roman's strengths and weaknesses, it is Seth Rollins. Because of that, some fans believe Rollins represents the perfect opposite to Roman. One leads through dominance. The other thrives through unpredictability. One built an empire. The other constantly looks for ways to dismantle it. Those contrasting philosophies have kept their rivalry alive for years. Introducing The Rock into that equation would not erase the existing history. Instead, it would place even greater emphasis on the personal issues surrounding Roman Reigns. If family no longer stands behind him, then Roman faces a challenge unlike anything he has experienced before. That possibility explains why this rumor continues spreading across social media and wrestling forums. Fans are not only discussing what The Rock could do, they are asking a much bigger question. Does The Rock still believe Roman Reigns deserves to represent the family legacy? At this stage, there is no official answer. Only speculation, only discussion, only questions. And sometimes, those questions become even more entertaining than the answers themselves. Looking beyond the immediate story, another possibility continues to excite the WWE universe. If the relationship between Roman Reigns and The Rock has truly begun to fracture, many fans immediately look toward WrestleMania 43. A match between Roman Reigns and The Rock has been discussed for years. It represents two generations of one legendary family, two global superstars, two icons connected by blood but divided by ambition. If the current tension between them continues to grow, WrestleMania 43 could become the stage where those issues are finally settled inside the ring. Nothing has been officially announced. Nothing has been confirmed. But the conversation refuses to disappear. Every new interview, every television appearance, and every small interaction only adds more fuel to the discussion. For now, the biggest mystery is not whether The Rock can still compete. The mystery is where his loyalty truly lies. Is he still standing behind Roman Reigns? Or has something changed within the family? Until WWE answers those questions, fans will continue analyzing every detail, every comment, and every moment connected to these three superstars. One missing name has become one of the most talked about details in wrestling. Whether it was intentional or not, it has encouraged fans to ask whether respect between Roman Reigns and The Rock has quietly disappeared. If that respect is gone, then the Bloodline story may have entered an entirely new chapter. And if that chapter eventually leads to Roman Reigns standing across the ring from The Rock at WrestleMania 43, it would be one of the most personal family rivalries WWE has ever presented. Until then, all eyes remain on Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and perhaps most importantly, The Rock, whose silence may be saying more than words ever could.